Ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Tesla stock. Being back up 3% today, really outperforming the markets. I'm going to give you a full rundown of all of the news you need to know on Tesla and our markets and what could be coming next for Tesla stock. First of all, the reason Tesla is going higher today is probably some buy the dip mentality. You have to realize Tesla stock rallied like 80% last quarter from the 140 lows. I think the low was actually like 138 up to 271 down to the 180s again. We've kind of stabilized in the high 190s. And if you were someone that perhaps wanted to be in Tesla stock during that rally from the 140s to 271, perhaps now looks like a good time to buy into Tesla stock. And relative to even other big tech peers, Tesla's in a really good place in terms of where stock is. It's still down 50+% from all-time highs. If we truly do have a soft landing and no recession and rates fall, as markets are pricing in 50 basis points in September and cuts at basically every other Fed meeting over the next year, you probably want to be in Tesla stock. The only thing that I see really as a negative catalyst for Tesla at this point is a recession. As I've said many times, a recession is Tesla's, quote, kryptonite, because that's like the worst case scenario for Tesla. And the data we got today really, it's great, it's good. It's not the end all be all, but it's a great first step towards building some confidence back in markets of a soft landing. Keep in mind, Jamie Dimon last night said there's only a 35 to 40% chance of a soft landing, meaning there's a 60 to 65% chance of a recession. And if there's anyone out there to listen to it in terms of recession odds, I think it's Jamie Dimon, the guy that has run JP Morgan for like 20 years, the largest bank in the US. I'm also in the hard landing camp eventually. I do think over the next 3-6 months, the data will get worse. But if it does not, and if you are in the soft landing camp, now I think is a great time to buy the dip in Tesla. In fact, I would be throwing a lot of money at Tesla right now if I had more confidence this economy was going to continue to do well. So for that reason, I am a little defensive and I still have my entire position in Tesla. Just to kind of show you guys where this position stands, I haven't touched it literally at all from the last time I showed you guys. I haven't sold any, I haven't bought any more, and even in the history, I mean, I've traded some options. Back July 23rd was the last time I traded options in Tesla. I haven't done anything. I haven't hedged this latest downside in Tesla or in the markets, specifically in regards to Tesla. I just haven't done anything. Market value, $17,123. Up $586 today. Total return has gotten destroyed though. At one point, this was up like $6,000 for the total return. Now it's only up about $400. Average cost $194.01. 86 and a quarter shares still. Portfolio diversity of 34.71%. Haven't done anything. That just kind of shows you the confidence I have in Tesla. But I also haven't bought any in a decent amount of time as well. We have hit a lot of good trades though in the trading community. If you guys want to come join that, check that link out down below in the description of this video. I do have over $23,000. It's really like $25,000 in cash. I do have one open trade I'm going to close by the end of the day that's ready to go into Tesla at any point when that moment does come. I'm ready to buy more and I will be buying more, but I'm being a little patient here. But the data we got today that is calming down some of those recession fears, some of those weakening labor market fears, is the initial jobless claims that came in at 233,000. We were expecting 240,000. Now, last week's number was revised up 1,000. So markets look at this as good news today, even though, I mean, you were only 7,000 lower than expected. 233,000. Still a relatively high number. It's still trending upwards. This was not like a super low number. I mean, we were in the low 200,000s for the vast majority of 2023. So you're still trending higher, but this is really the first time in a while where we've had a downside surprise in terms of, or upside surprise in terms of economic data, where the data came in better than expected for the economy and or the labor market. Keep in mind, the unemployment rate has went up 5 months in a row. Like, we haven't gotten any good economic data in a while, it feels like. So markets are going to take anything they can and kind of extrapolate that. And yeah, today's data was good. And that means less odds of a recession according to the markets. So that means the Russell 2000 is up 1.72% today. The NASDAQ is up 2.24%. The S&P 500 is up almost 2%. And the Dow is up 1.54%. Really just a strong day across the board. The VIX is down 3 points today to 24.74. You're down about 11%. So the VIX continues to get sold off, but it's still at a high place. There's still a decent amount of fear out there with the VIX almost at 25. This is a level we have not been at in all of 2024, okay? Even back in March when markets were lower than where they are today, the VIX only ever got to like 19, right? So you're still pretty high on the VIX, which to the bulls, I guess, favor means you could continue to see the VIX fall and markets could bounce a little bit more from here. That's normally what happens when you get these large spikes. And in fact, this was the third largest spike we've ever seen for the VIX ever. And it was really based on the Japanese yen carryover trade getting destroyed, right? Destroying our markets, causing a mini meltdown in financial markets. And as I've said many times before, the only thing that really matters for our markets, whether markets do well or not, or Tesla does well or not, is the economy, is the economic data. Markets take data points and they extrapolate them. And what today really showed us is each data point is now a major catalyst. I mean, you moved more on these initial jobless claims, a week-by-week data point. We get this every single week, every Wednesday or Thursday. You move more than like a CPI report. So I don't even think CPI is as important anymore. I don't think the Fed's as important anymore. It's all about the economy. And specifically when the Fed goes to cut rates, September 18th, where the economy is, if the Fed's cutting into weakness or if the Fed's cutting into strength, that's going to be the most important thing for Tesla stock. Again, considering we have the Robotaxi event on October 10th. As Sawyer Merritt writes on X, happy 8/8. And I didn't even think about it until now. This would have been the day for the Robotaxi event. He says, looking forward to the new 10/10 Robotaxi unveiling. And I will be making a video coming out at 8 p.m. tonight of my exact expectations from now until October 10th, what my plan is going forward. And I think you want to watch that video if you're in Tesla stock. As far as Tesla stock news, July 2024 was Tesla China's best first month of any quarter in its history with 46,227 sales, 13% higher than the previous best first month of the quarter. And this was because the CPCA reported 27,890 exports for Tesla's Giga Shanghai in July. Dodge has revealed pricing for their upcoming Charger Daytona EV, its first all-electric muscle car. Starting price, $59,595. The Scat Pack is $73,190, up to 670 horsepower and all-wheel drive. The range is up to 317 miles and 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. The Cybertruck is seen tackling the Red Cone Trail in Colorado for the first time. And there is a video from Stefan here. This is a renowned trail for off-roading that's hard for any vehicle to really do. And the Cybertruck, well, does it quite well. Tesla has also added some new redeemable items to their referral awards program in North America. A CyberSoft blanket for 1,000 credits, a Model 3 Performance carbon fiber wheel caps for 1,000 credits, a branding iron for 750 credits, and a wall connector color matching faceplates for 500 credits. Tesla's Megapack X account writes, This 70 megawatt hours of megapacks has been energized by Harmony Energy's site in North Yorkshire. The project adds to Harmony's 1.1 gigawatt hours of megapack operated by Autobidder. It's also being reported that Tesla China is announcing autopilot is more than 10 times safer than human drivers, citing its second quarter safety report. This does mean a broader entry of FSD into the country looks a little closer now. I mean, it's hard for Chinese authorities, or really any authorities, especially Chinese and US authorities, to make the argument that we shouldn't have FSD or autopilot on our roads. Sure, there will be some crashes. There will be some things that can't be accounted for that will happen. But pound for pound, these features save lives. And I think China realizes that. And FSD entering into the Chinese market, as we know Tesla is working on right now, is going to be a big catalyst for Tesla stock. Hyundai Motor Group will reorganize its self-driving business. They are expected to clean up their overlapping businesses and operate with Waymo and others, or reduce their main businesses. Governor Nuevo Leon noted that he trusts the installation of Tesla's Gigafactory in northern Mexico. Elon Musk did say on the last earnings call it doesn't make sense to start construction on Giga Mexico before at least the elections, before we know what kind of trade policies are going to be enacted. I think that is very prudent investing. I think that's a very prudent CEO that's taking the right steps necessary to ensure that they don't make a mistake with a large project like Giga Mexico. But it does push the timeline back a bit for mass production of these lower priced models, which I do think has had some effect on Tesla stock from Tesla's last earnings. Despite robotaxi and how exciting that is, the number one thing that Wall Street is really accounting for right now that they're pricing into Tesla stock are these lower priced models. Again, robotaxi's great. It's a great long-term kind of high risk, high reward payoff. But it's the new models that Wall Street really cares about. And those got pushed back a little bit. Not in terms of when we actually will get those models. In fact, that guidance has gotten pushed up over the last 2 quarters. We're going to get them sooner than we thought as we were entering 2024. We thought by late 2025 or even 2026. Now we're expecting them the first half of 2025. That's great, but we're not going to get mass production of these vehicles until Giga Mexico. And that's pushed back a little bit, unless obviously Tesla puts some more manufacturing lines at Giga Texas, but we don't know what they're necessarily doing. So Wall Street, they're not going to give Tesla the benefit of the doubt. They're just going to shave off some expected delivery numbers, especially for 2026. And I do think that has been, to some degree, a headwind for Tesla stock. Samuel Garcia, the governor of Nuevo Leon, says he was confident that all the preparations for starting construction were complete, and he thought Musk might have mentioned the factory cancellation as the U.S. election nears. Again, it's not a cancellation, just it's being delayed a little bit. Option activity from big money today via the interesting flow sentiment over on Ortex shows 11 different orders totaling $4.58 million with a positive order value of 66%. Notably, we could see some pretty big bets coming in here for the upside. This one is a call for the $200 strike expiring tomorrow for about $100,000. That's a pretty bullish trade. Or this one, in August 16th, 205 call for $108,000. That's a pretty bullish call. You have an August 16th, $200 call for $116,000. Any of these short-term out the money positions or trades are pretty dang bullish. Here is a January 17th, 2025 $300 call for $123,000. This one's a December 19th, 2025 360 call for $737,000. A June 20th, 2025 270 call for $860,000. A June 18th, 2026 280 call for $1.66 million. It looks like there's a lot of bullish positioning today taking place from big money in Tesla. It's a pretty good sign of what's to come next. We take a look at Tesla's short interest of free float. It has fallen a little bit today from 3.76% to 3.75%, so down 1 point, if you will. Tesla's dollar amount that's currently sold short sits at an even 20 billion, and you do have 104.28 million shares that are currently sold short. Today, you have borrowed shares of 1 million, return shares of 1.33 million. That means on net, you're looking at almost 330,000 shares that are being covered on today, which makes sense. Tesla stock's up over 3% and outperforming the markets. Google Trends data remains strong for the Cybertruck, sitting at 74, the Model Y at 24, the Model 3 at 23, the Model S at 9, and the Model X at 8. Over on StockTwits, the sentiment for Tesla mainly kind of judges retail investor sentiment is at 52, which is neutral. Yesterday, you were at 47, which was also neutral. Message volume today is normal at 49, 1 point higher than yesterday's 48. And participation ratio today is normal at 54. So I would say retail's just pretty neutral today on Tesla stock. Google Trends data for FSD sits at 20, which is still a very good level. You've done what I would hope we would have done, and that is we're actually seeing a bottoming in Google Trends in the low to mid 20s. That's higher than where we were before. That suggests a continued higher take rate for Tesla's FSD. Tesla continues to run about 4,000 different ads with Google, and Tesla's global inventory numbers are starting to rise further. For the Model Y, you can see here in green at 6,700, the Model 3 at 5,500, the Model X at 3,800, and the Model S at about 2,700. Here today, you're seeing about 5.5% of all stocks breaking above their 50-day moving average today. So today is a pretty broad-based up day for the markets. In total, you're up 15.49% today from yesterday's close, and you do have 42.27% of all stocks currently trading above their 50-day moving average. CNN's Fear and Greed Index today is sitting at 22, which is still in extreme fear territory. I don't think this is accurate of the actual sentiment out there. I just think the VIX still being where it is, as well as the put to call options being where they are, is really skewing the Fear and Greed Index, because I think you're more like mid-fear, maybe closer to neutral today. 10-year Treasury yields are up about 1.5 basis points to 3.98%. And markets are still pricing in a 50 basis point rate cut September 18th, with the odds being at 56.0%. Following today's data, though, with initial jobless claims, it did fall from 72% odds yesterday down to 56% odds today. So still pricing it in, but not as strong of a likelihood as what we seen yesterday. And that's why the data, all data, will be very important for markets. It will kind of change the odds from 25 basis points to 50 basis points. We may even go to 75 basis points or more if we do see worse data in the coming weeks. Nonetheless, at the time of recording this video, Tesla stock is up almost 3%, sitting at $197.25 per share. You did find a little bit of resistance around this $200 level. That'll be interesting to see. In the last prior 3 days, you've actually been finding resistance around this 200-day moving average at about $203.24 per share. So if you find resistance around that level, don't be surprised. But when we break above that 200-day moving average, you're going to see a large rally, in my personal opinion. The RSI is sitting at 40.35, so you have started to curl up a little bit. That's a good sign in the short term. We do have a golden cross as well that did occur back here on July 29th. Historically, that leads to upside, so we'll see if that happens or if this time is different. And the MACD line is negative 5.68. The signal line is almost negative. And considering that, I do think you could see a turnaround of the MACD and a little bit more of a bounce in Tesla overall. But again, we'll talk about that more in the next video coming out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Between now and then, though, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already to stay up to date when these videos are posted. Hit that notification bell. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, check out that link down below in the description of this video. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.